We are taught to practice non-judgment. So we are taught not to judge. But how can we control this? When we see educated people, wealthy people, and wealthy here meaning they have access to so many resources, eating meat, so not being vegetarian, seemingly aware, so they know the damage that their actions may cause, but they don't care. So this is very difficult. On the one hand, we're taught, don't judge. On the other hand, we see in our lives people doing things. In this case, eating meat, which we know is so horrible, not just for the animals, but for the planet, for our brothers and sisters on the planet who are starving. People who have access to different choices. People who are aware. But making these choices that are harming others. How do we not judge? So here is where we have to be really clear with ourselves on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, and on a level of being effective in bringing about positive change in the world. My judgment helps no one. If I sit here and I judge someone else, whether it's something superficial and silly, oh, that person's really ugly, oh, that person's really stupid, oh, that person, you know, the type of silly things that go on in our minds, or on a deeper level, God, that person is really not very spiritual. That person is eating meat or telling lies or cheating somewhere. On any level, from the most superficial to the most serious, my judgment helps no one. And in fact, it harms. It harms me first, because my mind now, instead of seeing connection and oneness, sees separation. I see you and I judge you. And it fills my mind and my heart with negativity. So that's where it harms me. It also harms you, because we're energetic beings. And even if I don't speak it, even if I don't say, oh, you're ugly, oh, you're stupid, oh, you're a cheater, oh, you're not spiritual. On an energetic level, it's reaching you, it's impacting you, it's affecting you. Our thoughts are things. Thoughts go out in the world as energy. And they actually impact people and hurt people. So, and lastly, of course, it doesn't benefit the world. No animals are saved, or trees are saved, or water is saved, because I'm judging you. So judgment is something we need to stop. For my sake, for your sake, and for the world's sake. Because of course, I use a lot of mental time and energy judging, which means I'm not doing something beneficial with that time. Right? How many of us have ever been in a situation where somebody says something or does something, and afterwards all we can do is think about it. It keeps working in our minds over and over again. Now, it's harming us, harming that person, and stealing my time and energy from actually doing something that benefits the world. So that's why we don't judge. But the second piece is, just because we don't judge doesn't mean that we are supposed to sit back and just allow violence, destruction to happen in our world. Whether it's destruction of the environment, whether it's racism, whether it's prejudice, whether it's violence against women, whatever area of violence there is, and sadly there's so many areas, we are supposed to stand up and act. But we don't need to judge. We simply need to be aware that what is happening is not right. And without judgment, without criticism, without negativity, with simply the awareness, the clarity, to be able to intervene in whatever way we can. Whether to suggest to someone that they act in a different way, whether to teach them, whether to help them, whether to encourage them if they're people we have control over in our house. In whatever area. Because again, this question is on vegetarianism, but we could take it into so many different areas. We are called upon to act. We are called upon to use our initiative, our ability, our sight, to bring about change for positive in the world. But if we're judging, then all we do is bring negativity. So we see it, and in whatever way we are able, and it's going to vary from situation to situation, from person to person, in whatever way we are able to change the situation, to protect the land, the water, the people. It is up to us to do that. But we are going to be much more effective at knowing the right way to act, at knowing the right thing to say, if we're not judging. And the last point I just want to mention on this is we've all been in situations where we've done something wrong. And we get criticized for it. Now, the criticism hurts us. And it does not make us actually want to do the right thing. All the criticism does is hurt our hearts. And we know this from being on the receiving end of it. When you make a mistake and someone says to you, you're stupid, you're bad, you're worthless, you're this, you're that, we feel horrible. We don't feel empowered to change. We don't feel energized to find a new way, to act in a new way. We feel like crawling into a hole and crying. And so when we're on the other side, when we see somebody doing something that we know is not right, we have to remember that ultimately our goal is to improve the situation, not to just use our ego to hurt that person, not to just lose our temper. We may be right, but being right does not give us the right to hurt people. And so first, we get out of a place of judgment. And then out of that place of judgment, we're able to see what is the most effective way of communicating this message with someone so that they are empowered and energized to change for the good. And that's the best thing we can do for the animals, for the land, for the whole planet.